Welcome back to the podcast after nearly 5 months without a podcast, as I've been dealing with some personal stuff, and this is me back. This episode of the podcast is with the Magic Mod, and it was recorded at the start of May, so apologies if there's any sort of timestamps that aren't relevant, but I thought I would put it out there. I've got a lot more guests coming up. I've got some booked, so we should be going back to weekly/fortnightly episodes. As I said, this episode's with the Magic Mod. If you're not aware of the Magic Mod, he's a magician. Also, he's a big Paul Weller fan, and Paul Weller has took him on tour with him. As well as that, he's been on tour with the Libertines and Reverend and the Makers, and he's actually been doing his own tour as well. I don't know what sort of dates he's got coming up now, but at the time he was embarking on a tour at the time of recording. Hope you all enjoy the podcast, and I'll be back very soon with another one. Thanks. Right, Ben Taylor, also known as the Magic Mod, thank you very much for coming on the Time for Heroes podcast. What I do at the start is just get you to get back to where it all began, what it was like for you growing up. So just take it away from there.
I mean, my earliest memories of growing up, mate, being in Crawley, always having a deck of cards in me on my person, shall I say, kicking balls against garage doors around the estate, playing knockdown ginger. Just doing the stuff that a normal youngster would do, mate. Education-wise, never really liked school. I always thought I was going to be a professional footballer, and that never obviously happened. Hence why I'm a magician. The next best thing, eh? But I had a fantastic childhood, always with my mum and dad, with my friends. As I said, always. I would say. I was always getting up to mischief in school. I wasn't a bad kid, and I certainly wasn't a bully, but I always used to do probably silly things that would always end up getting me in trouble, i.e., I think I set a bin of fire up. I set fire to some bit of paper, and it ended up in a bin. I thought I blew the paper out. Next thing you know, we've turned around and the bin's caught alight. Listen, there's more stories like that. I wasn't into burning stuff, or I certainly weren't into like arson and all that. Do you know what I mean? But I think when you're a kid, you always have a little bit of a devilish side to you, didn't you?
I think you as well. At that age, you're whatever carry on all the time.
I mean, what's his name? Steve Marriott, when he was this kid, he burnt his school down, didn't he? Near enough. I remember reading a story about that. So I weren't that bad, but yeah. And, as I said, Crawley was where I was born and bred, and, lovely little place. Wasn't really too much going on. You had the football club, which was in the Dr. Martin's League. It's now in League 2 now. Had a nice big leisure centre. Used to go there and play football all the time. And there was the old leisure centre had some amazing bands. The Jam played there twice. Mm-hmm. Jimi Hendrix actually played there. They had some amazing, people back in the day play there. And the new one they've got now, Paul Weller's played there twice, and they've had some big names as well. But other than that, mate,
whereabouts were you in Crawley? Just because my missus is for there. My missus is down there now.
Oh yeah, Tilgate. I was right by the park.
Right. Well, we're just around the corner there in Furnace Green.
Oh, I know Furnace Green. Yeah, they used to have. I believe Furnace Green's where they had a tackle shop years ago. No, I'm thinking of somewhere else now. I'm thinking of West Green. That's West Green. No, Gossip Screens. They've got the charcoal burners, the pub, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been in watching a couple of games in there.
I've been in there a few times, mate. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, I've been in the other one as well. I've been in that one in Tilgate. Is it the Grasshopper or something? I've been in quite a few.
Yeah, the Hoppers. Yeah. That's a lovely little pub. The local pubs have seen me in there a few times. Put it that way, mate.
So what happened then? What were you into first? Was it music or magic?
I'll be honest, mate. Probably the music. From when I was about 7 years old, I remember rooting through some old music, and I stumbled across the Jam, and I was blown away. And I ended up asking my mum to go out and get me some music. I called it mod music at the time. I remember it because the reason I remember something like that is because it was sort of like, it's one of them moments like everyone knows where you were when Michael Jackson died. You know, everyone knows where you were when 9/11. Everyone knows exactly where you were when something like that happened. I knew exactly what happened when I first discovered my first bit of music, the Jam. And like I said, the first album was All Mod Cons. The album my mum went and got me on vinyl, and I didn't, obviously, I was only a youngster. I'm sure I was about 6 or 7. And my mum let me borrow her, or mum put it on her turntable in the vinyl player we had downstairs. And I remember listening to it and I was hooked, and I must have played it religiously, 4 or 5 times a day. Before, after school, used to get up early before I go to school and put it on while I was getting dressed and that. And yeah, man, you don't get bands like that anymore. You see so many people think, a lot of bands now, they put a song out, they put it out on Spotify, and they think, yeah, brilliant, we've got a song on Spotify, you should go and listen to it. But why should we go and listen to it just because it's there? You've got to make us want to listen to it. You've got to do something, like the Jam. Look at the Jam. They didn't have there's nothing like all this internet or the Spotify, and they certainly weren't on the TV when they first come about. And what they did is they did these small, intimate gigs, and word of mouth got about. Check this band out. Check this band out. Next thing you know, they're playing at some of the best venues in the world.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. They put the graft in. The whole story about the Jam's uprising is just amazing. And it annoys me. No, nothing annoys me. Let me just get that. Let me put that one right. Nothing annoys me. But it's one of them things where I think a lot of other people get annoyed when they get messages from people in bands, and it's just like, share this. It's not like a hello, how are you, or hi, I hope you're all right. Would you mind listening to this song? It's just share this. Like, hang on, like it's got to be something really, really like bang, hit you in the face for anyone to really listen to it in the first place these days, because it is such a hard business now, the music industry, because there's so many bands. You have to really stand out if you want to sort of like make a half decent career in it. And I mean, even if you are that good and you're all on Spotify and you're getting something like 25,000 listens a day or whatever, you're still not making money out of that. You need to be out there gigging and putting graft in. And I think a lot of people these days are a little bit shy about that. They're happy with just putting a song out on Spotify when you really need to be out there gigging and doing a live show and getting people talking about you.
I've got friends in bands, and they all say the same thing. The way you make your money is through gigs, doing gigs and selling merch and stuff like that.
Yeah,
not so much the music, but obviously the music has to be there for people to go to the gigs. But yeah, gigging is key, and obviously that's what these bands that was their bread and butter.
Yeah, man. Like, I hope people who listen to this don't think that I'm being arrogant or that I'm slating people or bands. I'm not. I'm just trying to say that it's one of them things where you just really need to put the graft in. And that's not just for bands. That's for people who want to make a career in anything, mate. If someone wants to be a footballer or even a magician or anything, mate, you really have got to you have to dedicate your life to it, really, to the point where you don't have a social life, because all you're doing is trying your best to make your career succeed.
Yeah. So obviously for the Jam, then did that lead you into all the other sort of the other sort of bands, kind of for that scene?
Pretty much, mate. Yeah, it's like a knock-on effect, like from the Jam, and then got into like the Small Faces, the Kinks, the Who, Madness, God, the Supremes. I was listening to. I went into a phase with the old Northern Soul because, as we all know, it goes hand in hand with that era.
Yeah, I love that
and
stuff.
of course, it's timeless. Music like that is timeless, mate. And yeah, I had one of the best record collections by about 14, 15, mate. Seriously, And I used to take my little like CD player, Walkman, what they call them, and listen to. Used to have a different album on every day at school. But I always, I was always different. Always listen to different music to the other kids, where they'd be listening to people like Eminem and like P Diddy, 50 Cent. I'd be listening to like greatest hits of the Who or something like that. Lonnie Donegan, Roy Orbison, Neil Diamond. List goes on, mate. I could talk about music for years, honestly. Like that's one discussion that just there's never an ending. You can just talk about it for as long as you want, really, can't you?
Yeah, it's nice to hear though that a young boy at that age and you still you had the passion for that type of music, and you were proud to listen to it without being embarrassed that you weren't mainstream or whatever.
No, of course, like one of my first ever gigs I went to was Bad Manners, right? And I remember I was underage. Me and my mates, we all snuck in. We did sneak in. We got our mates to buy us a ticket who was over 18, and we all went to Bad Manners, and we were the youngest ones there, obviously. And you could tell, when we walked in there, you had all these, the big scooter boys, as I like to say, bald heads everywhere, big beer bellies, and then there's three little lads walking in there who've just probably clean shaven because we never had anything. And we walked in there like, oh God. And do you know what? It was the best gig, one of the best gigs. I still say to this day, that was one of the best gigs, Bad Manners at Concord 2. It was unbelievable. And from then on, I was hooked in live gigs, and I really wanted to go. Sorry, man, I'm trying to get a good angle.
Oh, yeah,
I'm on a bed. I don't want you to think this is leading anywhere else. Do you know what I mean? But it's I was hooked, absolutely hooked on live music after that. And 3 weeks after seeing Bad Manners, I then went and saw Paul Weller at the Brighton Centre, Madness 2 months after, the Rifles. This was all in the same year, mate. And like I said, I couldn't get enough of it. Whenever I saw a gig was coming on, that was it. I was hooked because
that's what you get that bug for it, didn't you? And once you've got it, and you're hooked.
And I loved the merchandise stands. So I'm a sucker for that, mate. Especially when you go there and everything's lined up lovely, and they've got like a little unique thing, like a bottle opener or a bloody deck of cards or something really unique. And you think, oh, I'm just going to end up getting that. And I want a T-shirt as well. And I want this. Next thing you know, you've blown all your money on the merch table, and you ain't got nothing else for a beer.
So you're going to all these gigs. So when did the Magic appear?
The Magic's always been there, and that's a similar time, mate, to be fair. It's one of them ones where I'm sure the music probably did come in first when I was 6 or 7, but the same thing is I ended up getting a Magic set, a Paul Daniels one at the age of 6 for my, I think it was Christmas or birthday. I can never quite get the right milestone, what one it was, Christmas or birthday, but that was it, mate. Again, hooked, lifted up the lid. That was it. I was dragged in. I never knew it would be a career or that I would achieve some amazing things that I've done, because it still baffles me what I've achieved. And at the time, I just thought it would be a little part-time hobby, really, just something you'd pick up and just have fun with, I didn't do it really at the time to impress anyone or to, I don't really know. It was like a games console for me. That was my games console. I used to just pick it up and practice and learn new tricks. And there was no better feeling
I
than
mean, I
learning
can
a new
mind
trick.
having one of them. I can mind having one that came in the wee box and all that. I can mind having one, and I don't think I've fucking done one magic trick with it. I don't think I could fucking work at
No.
it.
Listen, it's not for everyone, mate, because you get people who, listen, if I think everyone in the world has had a magic set at some point in their life, because it was one of them things where Christmas come around, what you get people, boom, a magic set. Paul Daniels magic set or Marvin magic set. And, you know, it's one of them things that everyone in the world has had a magic set at some point in their life. Now, if everyone then went on to do it, everyone's going to be a magician, isn't they? But no one does that. You know, it's one of them things. You really need to. I think you really have just got to have a general love of it to then take it on to the next level.
Well, that's the next question. Then, how do you take that on to the next level? How did you progress that?
It's. By the way, can you see that?
What is that?
What is that exactly? So I found these. You remember the old transfers tattoos?
Yeah. Used to go out with his gym gun.
Yeah. So like my girlfriend had a load because she's going on some stag do, and I thought I'd put one on me and take a picture and say to my mum, I've got a tattoo. It's come out so bad, mate. And we went out for a Nando's, and I had a short sleeve t-shirt on, and it's hanging, you know, the tattoos, everyone could see it. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I forgot about that. I look like right thieves, don't I? But got to have a laugh, ain't you, mate? That's what life's all about, having a laugh in life. Getting on to the next level, it's do you know, it's you yourself, you know, like going back to when I first started, I could have quite easily put the cards down and never gone and picked them up again. But because I was so hooked on it, I knew after probably a couple of years, I think I had a break from maybe 2 years. I'm sure I did, where I just didn't have an interest in magic at all. Right. And I think that was more due to being involved in football more and wanting to pursue a career in football. And I ended up being in a football academy for 2 years. So I was training Monday to Friday, and on the weekends I was still playing for a team on Saturday, and then I was playing Sunday league as well, which you're not supposed to have done other teams outside, but I ended up doing it. And I'm suffering now because I've got worse knees than my uncle, mate. My knees are completely done. I need I need a knee ligaments, what's it called? Keyhole surgery on my left leg, and my right one's no good as well. So my days of playing football, you know, pretty much near enough every day have come back to haunt me, really. But it was fun at the time. But if you told me I wouldn't be able to kick a ball at the age of 31, I probably would have, you know, stopped and slowed down a bit.
It didn't stop you doing those knee slides the other night at Craven Cottage.
Yeah, but I used to have a little bit of pace about me, mate. I can't now. I've seen JCBs move quicker than me now, mate. I tell you. But still got the baby face. So I'll settle for that. But going on to the next level, it's really how far you want to push yourself. You know, because I know this is going to sound silly, but it's not. But it's harder for a magician than it is a band, because if you think about it, a band can put music out on the internet, you know, put a song on YouTube, put a song on Spotify, you know, and people can listen to it while doing the cooking, the cleaning, the ironing, doing whatever, right? And they could have it on repeat, or they could have it while playing in the car. You know, magician, you have to say yourself, if I wanted to say I sent you a magic trick, a clip, you're going to have to stop for 2 or 3 minutes of your time, sit there and watch the whole thing. Yeah, not many people are going to do that. I've been very fortunate on Twitter to have built a very good following, and Magic Mod Monday works brilliantly. Facebook, I don't really use as much now. I just do it more of a personal thing, and Instagram, not as much. But you can push yourself to any level. Now, I've never said to myself, you know, I'm at, I don't know, say A at the moment, I want to be at B, or I'm at B now, I want to be on C or C and D. You know, I've never really said, right, I'm here now, I'm going to push myself. I've just always said, right, at the beginning of the year, I'll set myself a goal. Okay. If I achieve that goal, I will then set myself another goal. If at the end of that year I don't achieve them goals, then the next year I will maybe lower the goals. But the lucky thing is I have achieved all them goals that I wanted to, because I don't say, right, in January I want to play Brixton Academy, I want to sell out Brixton Academy, I want to do this, I want to do that. No, ain't going to realistically happen, right? I set myself realistic targets that are going to happen, so then I don't get disappointed. And if I do get a bonus of a festival or something else, or a TV show, this or that and that, everything's a bonus, And I think that's why I've really had the love and the bug for such a long time in magic, and I haven't fallen out with it, because as soon as you start, the same as music as well, as soon as you start setting yourself a goal and that goal doesn't happen, you're going to then fall in love with something. You're going to then fall out of love for something that in the beginning you fell in love with. And I've had this chat with many musicians, because no one listens to my music. But I say, you don't do it for that reason. I don't do my magic because I want to sell out arenas. I want to sell out this. I do my magic because I love it, and that it makes me happy. And I think in anything in life, you need to do stuff that makes you happy. And if me playing with a deck of cards, shuffling them in my room, makes me happy, then I'm happy with that, mate.
But this is a thing as well. If the audience can see that you're happy, then that makes them happy as well. So that's the key to it, isn't it?
Yeah, man, it rubs off. And the thing is with me, when I do these shows, I have the best time in the world, mate. And I think that rubs off exactly like what you just said. It does rub off, and the crowd end up enjoying it and not thinking, "Oh God, is he going to pick on me?" I fucking hope not. People enjoy my shows, and I've not had one bad comment. It's I enjoy it. It's not a job. When people say, "Oh, it's a job," it's not a job, because I enjoy it. And I don't class it as a job. I class it as something I love to do.
Yeah. So how did kind of supporting bands, how did that come about? Like, obviously Paul Weller took you on tour quite a bit. I'm pretty sure that.
Yeah, no, I did. So I did 3 nights with Paul, about 3 weeks, just under a month with Libertines, 2 nights with Reverend and the Makers, another festival with the Libertines, 4 nights with Pete Doherty solo, and in between some independent artists and that I agreed to jump on, because they were admirers of my work, and they said it'd be an honour for me to when someone says that, it'd be an honour if you'd be on our lineup. That's touching to me. That's such a beautiful thing to say. That, of course, I'm going to do it, because it's you've just spent your time saying that. And what a beautiful thing to say. Oh, we'd love to have you. So of course I'm going to do it. But yeah, it all started off. Paul gave me my chance, and I did 2 nights in the Hammersmith Apollo and 1 night in Brighton Centre. I think it was Brighton first, and then the week after it was it was Brighton on the Saturday, and then the week after it was Hammersmith Apollo Friday and Saturday. And I was just working the crowd in the auditoriums, doing the VIP bar, doing doing tricks to the bands, and doing like the after party for them shows. And then with the Libertines, I wanted to up the game, and I wanted to really, I think they wanted me. I didn't really have a choice, to be fair. They wanted me on the stage. They wanted me to be, one of the last support bands that people, or one of the last support acts, shall I say, that people see. And I think that really did give me the confidence and the belief that I could do it on a bigger scale, because you think in a band, you're going to have, unless you're a solo artist, you're going to have probably 3 or 4 people behind you. Okay, so if you get something wrong, you're going to have someone else to fall back on, where they could help you and dig you out of this hole. If I'm on there, it's quiet, it's just me, I'm doing a trick. If it goes wrong, who's going to dig me out of that hole? So that's where you really need to be.
It must take some
on the ball.
But that's the thing then as well. You must get some buzz at it.
Yeah, mate. Like there's nothing like it. There's no buzz like it. That's the most amazing thing. The adrenaline, everything. It takes a few hours when you then wake up the next morning, I'm still buzzing because I think, shit, that happened, and we're going to do it all over again. You're looking on your social media, seeing if anyone has commented about you, and 9 times out of 10, someone would say something lovely, and then they would put a picture up. Because let's be honest, you go to a music gig and you got a magician there, that's different, isn't it? Like, people are going to watch it just to see, just because they're curious of how it's going to work.
So, going back a wee bit, obviously, Paul Weller was the first one to kind of take you on one of his gigs. So how did that come about? Was he aware of you?
Yeah, we built up a friendship, and we ended up being friends. And I remember at one time he just said, would you like to do a couple of my shows? And that was it, mate.
Just because it's like a major honour for he's obviously the first guy that you've ever listened to. And all of a sudden,
exactly. Changed the game. That's when I started taking myself a bit more seriously. And that's when I started really developing the act and thinking, I've got to be switched on here, because if someone like your hero has put trust and believes in you, then you're doing something right. Because he's been around the game for a long time. He knows he ain't going to have any muppet on there, doing stuff, and that's true, because he's a perfectionist. The bloke's a genius. Everything he's brought out, in my opinion, has been amazing, and he's just one of them artists that's always going to bring out something unique and brilliant. I mean, he goes through so many different types of genres of music, and it's still unique and it still sounds beautiful. Like with his last albums, they've been amazing in the charts, and it's a breath of fresh air to listen to his music. And when that opportunity come, you can't turn stuff like that down, mate.
I mean, he must just be a great guy to have around as well, just for advice. You hear people talking about him, Johnny Marr and Noel Gallagher and all that, and they all take advice from him.
Well, there you go, mate. He's got look at the people who idolise him and that hang around with. Well, not hang around with him. Sorry. Look at the people who, like you said, Johnny Marr, Noel Gallagher, Paul McCartney's a big admirer as well. I think they've both done something as well back in the day. But they're some of but there's 3 of the biggest names in music ever. And Paul's one of them people where he's just he's the nicest guy in music. I've said that many a time because he is. I've been very fortunate to meet so many people in the music industry, but a lot of them don't come nowhere near to how nice and genuine Paul is. And that's true.
Yeah. So obviously, what have you got coming up? You've been doing some solo shows, haven't you? For the last couple of months.
I'm playing Falkirk soon. Then I've got Glasgow. Then I've got Northern Ireland. I've got Brighton. I'm on some festivals as well. I've got a Shine On festival towards the end of the year, and I've got a festival that's taking place at Ali Pali in July, and I'm hosting a Q&A on the stage with Alan McGee. There's a load of gigs coming around that are all scattered up and down.
Yeah, I'll check out the Glasgow one. I didn't know. I knew you were playing Falkirk, but I didn't realise you had a Glasgow date now, so I'll have a look for that.
You don't fancy Falkirk, no?
I don't know. If I can get to Glasgow will be better. I'll go to Glasgow. But all my mates, all my pals here have gone to Shine. They go to Shine every year, so tell them to have a look for you there as well.
I think I'm playing the Sunday. Yeah, I'm doing the. I think they've got like a comedy stage or something like that, and they're going to have me on there doing my act. So that's going to be a nice touch.
Cool.
Great lineup that is.
Other than that, boxing podcast. What happened with that? Because I seen there was like.
Yeah, so I did. I did a boxing podcast for a bit, mate, and it went all right. And then I just got really busy with other things, and I just ended up sticking that on the back burner, man. And I don't know. I think like we had some good guests coming up, but I'm one of these people. I like to do. I want to be doing someone who's had like 2 or 3 fights. I want to be doing someone who's had about 30 or 40 and is ranked 3 in the world or something. You know, I don't like, because I want something that people are going to listen to. You know, who's going to listen to a podcast with someone who, right, this is Dylan, he's an amateur boxer, he's having his first fight soon, let's talk about him. No one's going to really want to listen to it. And because it was a new podcast, you needed, and I needed to set the standard high, and then you can go and do an amateur. Then you know, as soon as you've got the following, that's when you can go and do someone who no one knows about and get them a following. But I enjoyed it because I used to do boxing as a kid. My dad he did boxing for a long time, mate. He was heavily influenced in boxing, and then got me into it, and I did it for a while, and then again stopped and went on into football.
Because I mean, for what I listened to, it sounded good, and I kind of thought that this is me get a rival for podcasts as well. But I've been looking at getting a guy on. I was away getting my hair cut a couple of weeks ago, and I was telling the barber that I did a podcast, and he said, "Why don't you get this guy?" It's somebody from the local area. Tom Gray, his name is. He's the editor of Ring magazine.
Yeah.
He's just a local guy from my area, and he just made it. And he was doing like local radio and doing boxing, and that's how he got into it. And he's the top man in this magazine. So I'm trying to get a hold of him.
You might as well, mate. Definitely. Keep it different. You know, get everyone. Get magicians.
Yeah. Well, this is that. I mean, this is why I wanted to get somebody like you. I'd heard you on a couple of podcasts, and you get an interesting story. It's different, isn't it? It's somebody different rather than just musicians all the time.
No, I totally agree.
So that's about it then. I'm really looking forward to these dates. I'm looking forward to coming to Glasgow. I'll find out when that is. Where can we find that on your Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter mainly now, mate. Since someone hacked my Instagram and is trying to get people to sign up to Bitcoin and shit like that, and wouldn't even know where to start with that bollocks. But I've relaunched a new account now, but it's mainly on Twitter. But I got a website, themagicmod.com, but
right, I'll stick all that in the show notes. I'll stick a link to your Twitter and a link to the website and the notes, and you can check it out. Obviously, the last bit then before we finish up, obviously.
Go on, mate.
4 heroes. Time for heroes. We have 4 heroes to come for dinner. So you pick 4 heroes and what you would cook them. I can imagine I could pick probably one of them right away.
Who?
Weller. I would imagine if you've not got Weller, then there's no point to this.
No, do you know what? I'm going to change it, mate. Can they be? I know it's going to sound stupid, but can they dead or alive?
They can be dead or alive. They can be family. They can be friends. They can be for whatever profession you want. Right.
Paul Daniels, Lonnie Donegan, Paul Weller, Steve Marriott.
Brilliant choices. Obviously, Lonnie Donegan, is that you got a daughter, haven't you? Is that who your daughter's named after?
Steady on, big son. You've not been watching? It's a little boy, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Lonnie. You wouldn't call a girl Lonnie, would you?
Well, I thought it was a girl. I thought that was quite a nice name for a girl.
Nah. Although, no. I can assure you, no, he's a boy.
That's it.
Yeah, I've named it. No, I did name Lonnie though. The boy, I did name him after Lonnie Donegan. Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
I thought because I remember listening to him again. My dad got me into that, and I loved the music. And I thought, what a great storyteller. So I ended up calling Lonnie after Lonnie Donegan. Loved it.
Aye, so, I mean, that's a brilliant lineup as well. Like, I think they would all work together as well. Like, it'd be like a right nice dinner party with that lot there. You get some good chat.
Fucking right, man. Got some stories on that table, mate, I tell you. And then you got Paul Daniels for a bit of entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Would you let him bring his missus?
Met her a few times. She's a really nice woman, to be fair. But no, it's a lads dinner party, mate. Do you know what I mean? Don't start twisting the rules and bringing a +1.
Right. So what would you be cooking them, or would it just be alright? Was it just for a booze?
No. Fucking hell. Right. Start off with halloumi with fuck that halloumi shit out. I had it earlier in Nando's, that's why it's on my head. But I'd have garlic breaded mushrooms with like a little like a kind of garlicky soupy dip, you know, with like garnish round and all that. And then for mains, I'd have steak with onion rings, corn on the cob, mushrooms, chunky fries, again, side salad. And then for pudding, I would probably, it's either a apple crumble with cream or like sticky toffee pudding, or half and half, mate. I tell you what, it's going to be a bit of both. Do you know what I mean?
That's classic, man. That's a classic fucking dinner, man.
Listen, mate, that's what's going to happen, mate. I'm telling you. And we'll have a butler called Jeffrey as well, who brings it out.
That's the first time I've ever had a butler on the podcast.
It's got to be done, mate. It's got to be done.
Yeah.
You've got to keep it traditional. We're in like some medieval fucking castle, like all dicky bow tied up and all that. It's only us lot, but it's going right off, I'm telling you.
Brilliant. There, as I say, brilliant choices, man. Thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
More than welcome, not a problem. Sorry it took so long. I always had
You're a busy man.
No, sorry, mate. But thank you for persevering with me and not giving up.
Yeah. So I'll post all your links, and people listening to the podcast, go and check him out on tour, wherever you are. There'll be a link for it.
Nice one, man.
Right, thanks very much, man. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Time for Heroes podcast. If you would like to get in touch, the best way is on the Facebook page, Time for Heroes podcast, or on Instagram at Time for Heroes podcast, or Twitter at Time for Heroes P1, or drop me an email at timeforheroespod@gmail.com. You'll find Time for Heroes on all podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple, Google and Amazon. Please leave a review where you can, share with others, and more importantly, enjoy. Chance